पावर प्लांट क्वेश्चन आंसर में आपका स्वागत है। अगर आप बीओई या बॉयलर ऑपरेटर एग्जाम या इंटरव्यू की तैयारी कर रहे हैं तो यह चैनल आपके लिए बहुत हेल्पफुल होने वाला है। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। What are the method used to remove undissolved suspended solid particles from water? Sedimentation, filtration, coagulation are the method used to remove undissolved suspended solid particles from water. Name the chemical used for coagulation. Aluminium sulfate Na₂CO₂, 3 normally known as alum, is commonly used coagulant. This make the settling process faster. A polyelectrolyte is also used for this. What do you understand by dissolved salt? Feedwater salt of calcium and magnesium are mainly responsible for the scale formation. Calcium, magnesium carbonate. Calcium, magnesium bicarbonate. Calcium, magnesium sulfate. Calcium, magnesium chloride. Calcium, magnesium nitrate. Calcium, magnesium silicate. How can the dissolved salts be removed? The dissolved salt can be removed from water by treating them with different process. If these salt are removed from water inside the boiler, the treatment is called internal treatment. If these salt are removed before supplying to the boiler, the treatment is called external treatment. What are the internal treatment method? In internal boiler water treatment, chemicals react with dissolved salt to convert them into less harmful slugs or salt which can be removed by blowdown. What is HP dosing? Name the chemical used for this. Dosing is done at boiler drum, which is at higher pressure, so this dosing is called as high pressure HP dosing. Trisodium, TSP, disodium, monosodium phosphate are used in boiler for dosing. These chemicals are also called as orthophosphate. TSP is highly alkaline and monosodium phosphate is slightly acidic. Why is phosphate dosing done at the drum of the boiler? At higher pH, solubility of calcium carbonate increase. So in high pressure boiler phosphate treatment is preferred as internal treatment. Phosphate react with calcium and forms less sticky, loose and non-adherent sludge instead of hard scale. Magnesium salt is converted into magnesium hydroxide or magnesium silicate serpentine due to phosphate treatment. This sludge remains in boiler water in suspended condition and then removed from the boiler through blowdown. What factors are responsible depending upon which blowdown is given? Depending upon the total dissolved solid TDS level of boiler water, blowdown is given. What is phosphate hideout? It is seen in high pressure boiler, as steaming rate increase the level of phosphate residual decrease. When load reduced, then phosphate concentration return to normal. This phenomena is termed as phosphate hideout and is due to reduced solubility of sodium phosphate at temperature above 250 degrees Celsius. When phosphate hideout occurs, there is a risk of permanent scale deposition or evolution of free casting which may lead to caustic attack. To which treatment does demineralization belong, internal or external? Demineralization belongs external treatment method in Diane plant. Water produced in this plant is called Diane water. Where are the cations of salts trapped in a Diane plant? The cations of the salts are trapped at cation exchanger containing a bed of cross-linked polymers called cation resin. Hydrogen ions H positive and cation exchanger is acidic in nature and regenerated by hydrochloric acid HCl or sulfuric acid H2SO4. Where are the anion of salt trapped in a Diane plant? An ion exchanger contains another type of resin called as an anion resin containing hydroxide ions OH negative. When water from the cation passed through an ion resin, anions are substituted by ions of the resin and anions are trapped at the anion exchanger. The water coming out from an ion exchanger is free from salts. What is the function of cation exchanger? The cations of the salts are trapped at cation exchanger containing a bed of cross-linked polymers called cation resin. Hydrogen ions are negative H positive. Here, R negative is the complicated chemical composition of the resin. So the salts of calcium and magnesium are converted into different acid and mixed with water. So the water coming out from cation exchanger is acidic. The cations are trapped at the resin bed, so it is exhausted after flow of some quantity of water through it and regenerated by hydrochloric acid HCl or sulfuric acid H2SO4. Why is the water coming out from a cation exchanger acidic? The cations of the salts are trapped at cation exchanger containing a bed of cross-linked polymers called cation resin. Hydrogen ions are negative H positive. Here, R negative is the complicated chemical composition of the resin. So the salts of calcium and magnesium are converted into different acid and mixed with water. So the water coming out from cation exchanger is acidic. Which chemical is used for the regeneration of cation exchanger? After backwashing, hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid is injected into the resin bed. Normally 2% to 6% acid for SAC and 0.7% acid for WAC with 30% is injected in reverse direction of the normal water flow and drained out. How is a cation exchanger regenerated? After backwashing, hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid is injected into the resin bed. That Ca positive, R negative and Mg positive, R negative are the exhausted resin due to absorption of cations in cation exchanger during normal operation, and RH is the charged cation resin. Define co-flow and counter-flow regeneration. Co-flow regeneration and counter-flow or reverse flow regeneration are two methods for regenerating ion exchange resins. In co-flow regeneration, the regenerate solution travels in the same direction as the surface flow through the resin bed, while in counter-flow regeneration, the regenerate solution flows in the opposite direction. Counter-flow regeneration is more efficient, leading to less regenerate consumption and lower ion leakage. What is the function of a degasser? When carbonates and bicarbonates are passed through the cation exchanger, carbonic acid H2CO3 is formed. H2CO3 is equal to H2O plus CO2. Degasser used to remove CO2 gas from the cationized water during deane water. In degasser unit, water coming out from the cation exchanger is sprayed from top of the degasser tower to increase its surface contact area, as low pressure air with the help of a blower called as degasser blower is blown from bottom of the column. By this process, carbonic acid breaks easily and CO2 gas is liberated and water is collected in degasser tank. Degasser unit reduce load on an ion exchanger. Why is a degasser placed at higher elevation? Degasser tank is placed at higher elevation. It has some merits. Firstly, the CO2 gas is vented at higher elevation. Secondly, water can flow to the subsequent exchanger, anion, and mixed bed by gravity. What is the function of an anion exchanger? The water which is coming out from the degasser unit passes through an ion exchanger, an ion resin which is represented by R positive or negative. The water coming out from the cation exchanger is acidic. Carbonic acid is eliminated at degasser, so others acid are still present in this water and an ion of the salt are absorbed by an ion resin. H positive ion substituted with the cations of salts at cation exchanger reacts with or negative ions of the resin to form H2O. How is an anion exchanger regenerated? Like cation bed, anion bed is also backwashed before regeneration. For the regeneration of an ion resin, caustic soda NaOH is used, 4% to 5%. This caustic solution is injected into the water stream and passed through the resin bed either in co-flow or counter-flow direction and drained out. Only DN water is used for regeneration in this case. Caustic soda reacts with exhausted anion resin to regenerate the resin. R positive SO4 negative plus Na positive OH negative is equal to Na positive SO4 negative plus R positive OH negative. All the exhausted resin after regeneration converted into original resin R positive OH negative. Remaining salts are drained out with water. The resin bed is slow rinsed like cation exchanger for some time and then fast rinsed. The conductivity of water is measured before putting the bed in service. Which chemical is used for the regeneration of an ion exchanger? For the regeneration of an ion resin, caustic soda NaOH is used. What is the function of mixed bed exchanger? Mainly mixed bed is used to arrest silica slippage from the water coming out of the anion exchanger. Both cation and anion resins are used in this exchanger. How is mixed bed exchanger regenerated? Backwashing and separation. Cation resin is heavier than the anion resin. So cation settle down and anion resin moves up during backwashing as the bed becomes fluidized. Acid injection. Acid is injected at the middle interface and drained out at the bottom after passing through the cation resin bed. Alkali injection. Alkali is injected from top of the bed and drained from the middle interface collector. Rinsing. Both the beds are rinsed to wash out the remaining acid or alkali. Mixing of bed. Air is introduced from the bottom. This air agitates the bed and resins are mixed uniformly. Final rinsing. After mixing of bed, water from the anion exchanger is passed through the bed with full flow for some time and then drained out. To maintain pH of DN water, morpholine dosing is done. Which type of silica can be removed by a reverse osmosis plant? Reverse osmosis is a process in which much pure water suitable for boiler feed water can be obtained. Colloidal silica can be removed from this process. Why is ultrafiltration units used at RO plant? Ultrafiltration is a technique used to remove very fine colloidal particles and macromolecules from the water. It separates particles on the basis of their molecular size. Pore diameter of the ultrafiltration membrane are in the range of 0.001 mu to 0.02 mu. Molecules having diameter smaller than the pore size of the membrane pass through the membrane and known as permeate. Normally 90% permeate is obtained and 10% rejected water drained out to pit tank. Average life of this membrane unit is 3 to 5 years. Which water is called as permeate? In ultrafiltration unit, molecules having diameter smaller than the pore size of the membrane pass through the membrane and known as permeate. Which chemicals are used for CEB in our RO plant? For chemically enhanced backwash cycles CEB, sodium hypochlorite NaOCl, hydrochloric acid HCl and caustic soda NaOH are used. CEB sequence maximize membrane life and minimize downtime due to system fouling. What is clean in place? Clean in place CIP is performed to clean the ultrafiltration membrane. This is carried out as and when required. The frequency of CIP depends upon the quality of water and is normally required in 1 to 3 months. What is SDI and what is its permissible limit in RO plant? Silt Density Index SDI is an important test carried out to measure suspended solid concentration in the RO feed water. Its permissible limit in ARO plant is 3. Why is sodium metabisulfite SMBS dosed? Chemical treatment is done at upstream water to eliminate scaling, corrosion and biological fouling of the RO membranes. When used as an online treatment, the biocides and antiscalants are dosed prior to the RO system to control biogrowth in the membranes. In case of polyamide membrane, free chlorine level must be 0 ppm. In this case, sodium metabisulfite SMBS is dosed. What are the methods adopted to remove dissolved gases from the boiler water? For removal of dissolved gases, deaeration is done in an equipment called deaerator. Chemical dosing hydrazine is done in the feed water to remove oxygen. This is called as low-pressure ALP dosing. Why is ALP dosing done? Name the chemical used for this. Chemical dosing hydrazine is done in the feed water to remove oxygen. This is called as low-pressure ALP dosing. How is the TDS level of boiler water is controlled? Total dissolved solid is due to the presence of dissolved non-volatile substance in water. If TDS of boiler water is more than blowdown is given to reduce this. By giving blowdown, some fresh water with little or non-TDS can be introduced into the system to balance TDS. The unit of TDS is mgl or ppm. On what factors does the hardness of water mainly depend? Hardness of the water is due to the presence of calcium and magnesium salts. These salts are deposited in boiler tube as hard scale which disturb the heat transfer and leads to tube failure. Hardness is of two types, carbonate and non-carbonate hardness. The unit of hardness is mgl or ppm. What is indicated by pH of water? pH value of the water indicates whether the water is acidic or alkaline. It plays important role in corrosion. pH value of different solution varies from 0 to 14. It is derived from the amount of hydrogen ion percentage in the solution. pH value is the logarithm of reciprocal of the hydrogen ion construction. Pure water contains 10 gram of hydrogen ion per liter. So its pH is 7. pH more than 7 is alkaline and less than 7 is acidic. Pure acidic solution is having 10 G of hydrogen ion per liter, so its pH is 0. As the pH value is logarithm function, so pH 8, 9 and 10 are respectively 10, 100 or 1000 times more alkaline than the pH value 7. What is the relation between TDS and conductivity? If TDS of the water increases, then its specific electrical conductance or conductivity also increases. Pure water has 0 conductance. The unit of conductivity is microsiemens per centimeter. To calculate TDS of water, the conductivity is multiplied by a conversion factor vary between 0.54 to 0.96. A value of 0.67 is commonly used as an approximation if the actual factor is not known. Define P alkalinity and M alkalinity. The alkalinity of water is due to the presence of HCO3 negative, CO2 3 negative and OH negative ions. SiO negative 2, 3 and PO negative 3, 4 ions also contribute towards alkalinity and its unit is mgl or ppm. Carbonate, denoted by AC, bicarbonate, denoted by AB, hydrate OH, denoted by AH, M alkalinity is called as total alkalinity is equal to AC plus AB plus AH, P alkalinity P or phenolphthalein alkalinity, P alkalinity is equal to AH plus 1 by 2 AC. Mention the OH negative concentration in boiler water when to PM. When to PM suitable for boiler water, there is no OH negative concentration, CO2 3 negative concentration is equal to 2P and HCO3 negative concentration is M negative 2P. What are the three forms in which silica is present in water? Silica can exist in three physical, chemical forms. 1. Dissolved silica, monomer, soluble, reactive. 2. Colloidal silica, polymeric, uncreative. 3. Particulate silica, granular, suspended. Silica in dissolved state is called as reactive silica. This is volatile and easily carried over by steam and deposited at turbine blade, where temperature and pressure of the steam drop. This is not desirable in boiler water. Silica concentration in boiler water can be controlled by giving blowdown. At DN plant, only reactive silica is removed. Colloidal silica is called as non-reactive silica. At RO plant, colloidal silica along with reactive silica can be removed. Which type of silica cannot be removed in a DN plant, reactive or colloidal? Colloidal silica cannot be removed in DN plant. Which chemical is used to remove oxygen from the boiler feed water? Sodium sulfide was used, but nowadays, hydrazine is widely used for oxygen scavenging. दोस्तों, अगर आपको कोई टॉपिक चाहिए या कोई खास सवाल सीरीज चाहिए, तो मुझे कमेंट में जरूर बताएं। मैं अगला वीडियो उसी पर बनाऊंगा। चैनल को सब्सक्राइब और शेयर करना ना भूलें। मिलते हैं अगले वीडियो में।